4. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Black Pros Podcast. This is our very first official episode. We are very excited to have you all here. So, welcome. This is Black Pros Podcast, where Black lives, Black voices, and Black stories have always mattered. Sorry, that's just a playback. My name is Oshale, and my channel is Oshi Reads here on YouTube/BookTube. And welcome.
I'm Brittany. I'm Melanin Eclectic on all platforms, including my website. So that's me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Troy Nicole, and I am from Inkfleur Studio and the Bookish Wallflower on both Instagram and Twitter.
So, welcome to our Friday night. Oh, sorry, I'm eating ice cream. Terrible idea. Terrible. But welcome to our Friday night special. And I just realized that I spelled night wrong. I didn't add the T on the end.
It's literally Friday night.
Friday night. Welcome to Friday night. I was trying to like play on words, calling it like Friday Night Live, but then Brittany had an even better idea of Friday Night Special, and I think that's what our thumbnail says too.
Yeah, because TLC vibes. That's what we feel.
Yes. TLC for life. And I was like, I like that so much better. So we're definitely going to stick with Friday Night Special. I'm going to add the T on after this live. That was embarrassing. I can't believe that.
We all have days and it doesn't always work out, but hey.
Yeah, like our technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't make any sense. We do this.
It doesn't, especially for future lives. I have to fix that.
Yeah, we do this all the time. When did it decide all of a sudden now that it no longer wanted to accept your computer?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Like, that was interesting. But we are here now. And basically, we just wanted y'all to join us because movie theaters aren't open. There's really nothing going on Friday nights for us anymore. So we thought it'd be nice. That's so sad to say, but we thought it'd be nice to kind of like hang out with us. We don't have any plans, so this is very like raw and unfiltered. We're just going to talk about whatever. So I will start this off by saying, what was the highlight of y'all's week and what was the low point of y'all's week?
Oh my gosh, ma'am. Mm-hmm. You can go first.
Don't
I don't. Oh my gosh, it's kind of been a crap week, y'all.
It has. I will say the highlight of my week was probably, I don't know. It really was kind of a terrible week. Y'all know what my really bad point was. It was when I found out my financial aid got reduced so much. It was definitely like the lowest I've been this week. And I really can't remember what the highest. Oh, actually, the highest point was a couple of days ago. I finally reached my first weight loss goal, and I've lost about 20 pounds.
Wow! Wait, what? Serious?
What?
Yeah, I had no idea. Especially since I've been in the house the whole time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible. How did that come about?
A lot of, just, I guess because everything's closed, because, when I was in school, I'm not joking. This is so embarrassing. But if you're from Texas, you know what Whataburger is. And and it's 24 hours, guys. It's 24 hours. Who told Whataburger to be 24 hours?
And not like they give you a menu after a certain hour. It's full menu 24/7.
Like everything you can eat at all times.
Everything. Yeah. I feel Troy on a spiritual level right now because that sweet and spicy bacon burger.
Oh my gosh. I love the Monterey melt.
Yep.
That and me and my best friend, we would literally just she'd come into my room and be like, hey, Troy, you want to go to Sonic? Because Sonic closes at 11 or midnight. And I would go to Sonic, and I'm not joking. I would get a foot long hot dog because something sell there. I would get tater tots, a burger, and I would eat all of that. And then I would cry when I realized I didn't gain the freshman 15. I gained the sophomore like 30. So
Oh my gosh, we're the
It
same
sneaks up
person.
on you. It sneaks up on you.
We are truly the same person because I gained nothing my freshman year because I had to walk everywhere.
exactly.
As soon as I got that car and a job,
My freshman year, I gained 20 pounds. And it was literally because growing up, I grew up in a very, very Nigerian household. Like my parents, we did not eat out. You ate at home. If we ever got like fast food, it was literally as a treat. Like my mom, we would get so excited to go to like Burger King or McDonald's. My mom would never, I mean, never. So we always ate at home. So the first time I went away to school, and I went to school in New York, the dining halls, first of all, I had dining dollars, which
oh
in
my
New York,
gosh,
yes. In New York, NYU's dining dollars were good in like legit restaurants that weren't necessarily as a part of the cafeterias. And then we had like all these amazing dining halls, and like some of them were open 24 hours. So for the first time in my life, I had access to unlimited food. So I would just eat and eat and eat. And even though I was walking everywhere, I was like, one of my classes, because I went to school for theater, one of my classes was legitimately like a physical movement class where I gained like a ton of muscle. I was still gaining fat. So I put on like 20, 25 pounds or so. And I remember I didn't realize it at first because I was having so much fun, like with my friends and like going on adventures in New York. And then all of a sudden I noticed like none of my clothes fit. And I had to buy like all new clothes. And I remember when I went home for Thanksgiving, yo, my daddy came up
Oh
to
no,
me.
Black parents are ruthless.
My daddy said, "You have gotten fat." I literally just looked at him and he was like, "You've gotten fat. This is not good." Oh, and then that summer when I went home, he put me like on a workout plan. And he was like, "Yes, my dad."
Oh my God, our dads are the same.
Yes. And he was like, "You're going to lose this weight. This is unhealthy. I do not want you to have health problems." Like that was his big thing. He just didn't want me to have health problems. And so then I lost all the weight. And then when I went back to school sophomore year, everybody was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." It was kind of funny. And then I gained it back, but that's a whole nother story.
See, now when I came home, I think for the summer of after my sophomore year had ended, I was in the car with my dad and we were driving to Target, and it was super quiet in the car. And I was like, this is so weird. My dad does not like quiet like this. And so he literally goes, "For Troy," and I'm just like, "Yes." And he was just like, "My name," and I was like, "Oh God." I was like, "What, daddy?" And he was just like, you want to start running the bayou with me?" And I was just like, "Why?" And he was just like, "Okay, Troy, listen, every time summer rolls around, you start getting a lot of weight." And I was like, oh, God dang.
The viciousness.
He came really soft, and then all of a sudden it was like wham, like, nope, you are gaining too much weight. And listen, when we went to the doctor, and I think my junior year, when I found out I was having the thyroid problems, the doctor put me on the scale. And when he heard 186, he looked at me and I was like, "You have no idea how much you have just ruined my life."
Oh my God.
Because you know how Black dads are, their jaws start clicking and their nostrils start flaring, and I was just like,
Yes.
dang it.
They do. Oh my God.
I mean, oh wow. I mean,
And they have like no couth. Like they have no, I was literally like, "You're getting fat." I remember that feeling, like my stomach just like sank. I would just looked at him like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "You know what? I knew that, but I really didn't need you to tell me that."
Exactly.
Like that.
You're supposed to tell me I'm pretty, I'm beautiful the way
Right?
I am. But no, it's like,
Right?
you're doing too much right now.
that's support right there, man. Like that is wow. I feel like we definitely
yeah,
need
we
to
came
talk about weight loss and crap because holy mess. Everybody in the comments has been letting us know that a lot of people are receiving books as their highlight. Unfortunately, some people got laid off, but they're motivated to start family businesses now. Like
Yes.
for a
That's
family
awesome.
business, when you get it set up, feel free to let us know. Also, when you order food and they deliver it to the wrong house, so you have to put on clothes to go out and get it.
Oh,
See, that is when I go off. It depends. Like, if I use a delivery service, I literally, I think my favorite delivery service is Uber Eats. I want to say it's Uber Eats that gives you all your money back immediately. They don't even ask questions. Either Uber Eats or Postmates. I can't remember. But if you do it through a delivery service, like I love when they don't even question you. Because I'm the kind of person, for any little thing, I ask for my money back. Legit. Like if they forgot, I'm like, no. It's not what I asked for.
Y'all, I seriously can't come up with a good highlight. Well, my highlight for the week is so lame.
What is it?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kim. Kim said I spent an unnecessary amount of money on Animal Crossing stickers from the website. I recently did an unboxing for a honeybee shop. Listen, I'm just going to stop here and say Honeybee Shop is ran by a girl named Shannon. Shannon is an A1. If you go to her site right now, her banner literally reads Black Lives Matters.
Like, that's amazing.
She's fantastic. So I'm always for the whole go support people thing. But yeah, y'all saw what I got. I spent enough. I've also gained a lot of weight during quarantine, but I've also switched you know what? That's my highlight. So obviously I've gained a lot of weight. All the weight that Troy has lost, I've gained it plus more. But I got a new trainer. So my original trainer, he was great as far as like weightlifting was concerned. Like I really feel like I'm a strong one now. Like I maxed out at numbers I never thought I would be maxing out at. So I am grateful for him. But I realized that my trainer has never had to lose weight. And I don't know about anybody else, but for some reason to me that felt like a thing, because he would literally be like, yeah, I stopped taking my protein shake and I lost like 5 pounds. I'm like, it must be nice. Because I don't know what that's like. If I skip a protein shake, I might gain 5 pounds. Like, so I got a trainer, which I'm going to look up her stuff right now and I'll put it in the chat. But we're doing online training right now, obviously. But what I like about her is that I have access to her 24/7. And we plan everything like 1 week at a time. So like I told her, I was like, okay, so here's my meal plan for next week. And I make my own meal plans because like I told her I don't want like one of those diet type meal plans where you eat the same thing every day over and over and over, because it's not like real life people don't eat like that. So she was like, well, I'm going to give you, like, you're going to make your meal plans and then we're going to go over it together to see if we need to take out some things or add some things to make sure it's balanced. That part I absolutely love. Then I also like, well, before Houston closed back down, my gym had opened back up, but they opened back up based on like reservations. So you have to reserve a time to go to the gym.
Wow.
So like I told her, I was like, okay, I reserved it. You can only reserve a time like up to 24 hours before. So I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be perfect. So I told her, I was like, I want to go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And she was like, cool, I'll have your workouts for you. And she set it up to where like I could just go in a corner of the gym with all of my weights and do all of my workouts there without having to leave it. So she's very accommodating.
Wow.
Then like when I'm concerned or like just needing to vent about being overweight, she completely understands because she's had to lose weight. And so I'll be like, I really want to eat chocolate. And she'll be like, this is what I did when I really wanted to eat chocolate. She'll share like what she did and it actually be something that I can use, something that actually tastes good.
Yeah.
Like my meal plan, she said I was missing protein. I didn't have enough protein. So she suggested that I do avocado toast with anything. What is it? Anything but bagel seasoning or something?
Oh, I love avocado toast.
Okay, well, I haven't had avocado toast in a long time because my trainer before me told me that I could not have all that. So that's the kind of like,
that's literally what I eat every morning since I started losing weight.
Yeah, I eat breakfast has always been good. It's not breakfast. It's just my emotional eating has just been so bad during this quarantine. I'll meal prep and do really good. And then anytime I have to myself to just sit down and do nothing, like my brain is just going a million miles a minute. Like being quarantined and living by yourself is not okay.
Yeah.
People really don't realize how much like food can feel comforting. Cause I know like as a kid, my parents were very strict about food, and not even in the sense that, oh, you have to be skinny, but because diabetes ran in my family, my dad was very like concerned about candy. So when I got off on my own, I really found comfort in food that I hadn't before. Because I've been overweight my whole life. I really have. And I don't think people can tell because I don't really post pictures of myself on my Bookstagram, but I've always been overweight. And so when I got to college and I was like free to eat whatever I wanted to, I found comfort in when I would get really stressed out about school. It would be, I'm going to buy Domino's. And then I'm going to buy, there's a place called Insomnia Cookies that they deliver cookies all night long.
Yes, I love that place.
And I would get a fudge a la mode like every night. And it was like comforting. But then in the morning, I would have all this remorse and I would get depressed and I would be like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep eating this damn ice cream just because I'm sad? Like, can I not find something else to like de-stress me? And I really couldn't. I literally a couple of nights ago, I felt so bad. Me and my mom went to Rita's Italian Ice. And I got a large mango. It was super good, right? But then I don't know what happened. I came home and I laid in bed, and then all of a sudden I was eating regular ice cream. I was eating my nephew's Oreos. I just went on a crazy, like, intense binge, and I felt so bad because like that's the whole thing. It's like you start feeling bad about liking the food.
Yeah, see, that is just our unhealthy relationship with food. Like, because wanting to eat food to feel comfort is not bad. It's literally curing the craving that you have to seek stability and de-stress yourself. It's the same way as if you picked up the habit of smoking. Like, instead of emotionally eating, we would be smoking instead. It's literally the same. It's really curing the exact same feeling. And like, that's why I always hate when people are like, oh, in order to lose weight, you need to be dedicated. It's like, nah, bro, in order for me to lose weight, I need a therapist because I gotta work emotionally.
That is so good.
You can't tell me to stop eating, because if I go through a week where I work my butt off and I stay on meal plan and somehow I still gain 3 pounds, best believe I'm going to Whataburger because I've already gained the 3 pounds anyway.
Oh my gosh. It's like that, what is it called? It's called the there's like a phrase for it, the all or nothing mentality, where like you eat something bad and you're just like, well, screw it. I'm gonna go fuck off. Like you just start eating everything.
Yep, which is really bad. Which is really bad.
Because it's like that one thing you ate probably wasn't that serious, but in your brain you're like, nope, it was terrible, it was terrible, it was terrible. And then you're like, well, who cares? Let me just go ahead and eat the rest of this.
Like, honestly, the worst ones are when you actually try really, really hard and you're like dedicated, and then like you're looking for the numbers and it's like, nope. It's like, well, if I'm doing it correctly, wait, why should I care? But my therapist told me that cravings are just your body seeking something different or seeking a change or wanting to change. So when you're
an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, when you're craving food, but you're not hungry, like ask yourself, like, what was the feeling that triggered you wanting to eat? Because honestly, emotional eating is just you avoiding whatever it is that triggered you. So instead of addressing it, you're seeking comfort to kind of just push it back down, when in reality, you were going to end up emotionally eating about it like very soon after anyway.
Damn, y'all, I need to get a therapist.
I was like, hey, that's why you need a therapist. Wow.
I'm getting myself back. Like, I gave myself grace during quarantine.
You have to.
You really have to. It's like, if everything in the world was like okay and not literally waiting for a meteor to crash down on us, then I'd be mad at myself because I wouldn't be dedicated. But I've set goals for
Right.
myself. Like I have the habits where I'm like, I'm still drinking a gallon of water a day. I don't buy snacks anymore to keep in my house. I allow myself one food delivery a week. You know, like, so it's not like I'm going completely out of control. And there are certain things that I have not had the entire quarantine. I have not had any alcohol this entire quarantine. Just because I knew that I could literally drink myself to sleep a couple of nights and that would not be
That would be a very bad habit to form.
Right. So it was like, well, since I don't want that to happen, like I think you can only control what you are doing, but to control what you are doing, you have to acknowledge what you are doing.
And I don't think people realize, like, you know, people will be really quick to say, like, oh, this isn't addictive, oh, that's not addictive, but you can have an addictive personality. And if your personality is addictive in that way, then it can be very easy to get addicted to something. Like, I remember my grandmother, when I first started college, she told me, keep a little wine, keep a little tequila in the dorm. Just make sure you hide it before you turn 21. And if you ever have a time where you're stressed out and you need to fall asleep, drink some. And I'm just like, that just seems like a very, very bad idea. Because I know me.
Terrible.
I know myself, and I'm just like, listen, I don't like tequila, first of all, but I like wine. I do. And I remember me and my best friend, we literally went to Target and got some cheap wine and got like super drunk on Halloween one night after we like cosplayed and everything. And I was just like, let's see, just from knowing that I am like that I would just be like, hey, bro, you wanna go get some fake wine, some cheap wine, and just like get mad drunk? Like, if I'm like that, I'm just like, no. See, me drinking it every night when I know I'm stressed would lead to a problem.
It's just
like, that was just like the worst advice I've ever heard.
I
was
think
just
the
like,
addictive personality thing is spot on. No, it's spot on, because it kind of reminds me, it's so funny because now that you mention it, I think about how much I used to really enjoy drinking when I was younger. My early to probably like to up to like 24, 25, I was obsessed with drinking. Like, I really loved it. And I really loved activities that included drinking. I was never like a solo drinker. Like, I would never just drink by myself, but I was more of a social drinker. Like, I liked going out with my friends. And especially in New York City, there's like rooftop bars. There's like almost everything that you do includes alcohol in some way that you do socially with people. And I don't know what it was, but over time, like now, I don't drink a lot. I don't drink at all. I think I weaned myself off of it because I do have an addictive personality. And I noticed that whenever I wanted to do something socially with people, alcohol always had to be involved. Like, I mean, always, like every single time. And socially, this is like 3 or 4 nights a week that I was going out socially with people. And I just started to realize it. And I basically had like a come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I admitted to myself that this is not something that I wanted to continue. Like, I wanted to be able to hang out socially and not have it surrounded or not have it centered by alcohol. I wanted to be able to be social with people and not have to have 3 shots. I wanted to be able to go ask that cute boy to dance at the club and not have to take 5 shots. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I want to be able to enjoy myself sober. And so I just had that realization. And so I kind of had to wean myself off of it. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm realizing that weaning myself off of it also came with, in a weird way, weaning myself off of so many social occasions. Like, now I don't really go out socially as much as I used to. I think that also just comes with age. But now it's like alcohol, I can take it or leave it. Like, I really like wine, but the taste of alcohol just doesn't appeal to me like that anymore. And I may have a drink or two when I go out with my friends, but it's not like a necessity like it was before.
You want to know something that's absolutely crazy about this conversation?
What?
So I just finished editing and uploading the video for Atomic Habits Part 2. That's up on Monday. And so the funniest thing about part 2 is that we're talking about habits and how to break habits. And one of the things you have to do with breaking the habit is breaking the cue that signals the habit, which is why you don't do those same social things anymore, because that was the cue for
That
you
is
to,
oh my
right?
God, that is so true. Because sometimes I think back on it, and I've had this realization as well that I've always been introverted. Like ever since I was a kid, I've always loved being by myself. Like those are my favorite moments is when I'm by myself, usually reading or writing or listening to music. Like when I was younger, we didn't have social media. So I would literally spend hours in my room with my CD player listening to different CDs and bands or like listening to the radio or whatever, writing, drawing. And then there was a period of time where I became super extroverted, like super, like I was always out, I was always with people. And then when I went away to school, especially in a big city, that only became magnified. I had a different group of friends for everything. Like I had a group of friends to go see like independent films with. I had a group of friends to go to see theater with. I had my club friends. I had my work friends. Like I had a friend for every situation. And that's when the alcohol started creeping in, and now I've like reverted back to who I was a kid as a kid, and I'm super introverted again and don't ever really like groups. Like I don't like large crowds. I don't like groups. I don't really like parties. I don't like clubs. I don't like none of the stuff that I liked before. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it was like disconnecting the trigger that triggered that behavior that I didn't like. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this. You are, oh my God.
I mean,
That is
listen,
so crazy.
when y'all watch this video, when I post this video on Monday, y'all can watch the video and then come back and let me know if you felt read or not. Because
Right?
just finished editing this video talking about this stuff right here.
Wow. That is so true because I was wondering, I was like, wow, I'm turned into like a grandma. Like, I don't really go out. Like, I have like my few close friends. And I'm just like, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. I was like, I don't like this about myself. I want to change it. Therefore, well,
And, you know, it's funny because one thing that not many people know about me, and I think aside from one of my little brothers and a couple of my friends, a lot of people don't know about this. I used to smoke in high school, like cigarettes, not weed, cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah, I
what?
used to smoke cigarettes in high school. I was never interested in smoking. Smoking's disgusting to me, and it was back then too. But my birthday is in September, so I'm always at the cutoff, like a few days before you're allowed to go into your right grade. So I was always a year behind, and so I was always a year older than people around me. And I don't know how it happened, but at some point I became designated, oh, Troy can buy this.
Mm.
And so I remember when I turned 18, my friends always wanted me to go inside of convenience stores and buy a pack, right? And I was just like, oh, I could take it or leave it. I didn't really care to smoke, but I was smoking a lot my senior year of high school. And it wasn't even like I liked it or that I felt like it was stress relieving. I didn't really feel anything about it. Like it was like Oshale said about social drinking. I was just socially smoking. I would never smoke around people. I would never smoke at home. Nothing. First of all, my father would have murdered me, but I just wouldn't have done it anyway. And I remember one day we were getting on the bus and my brother had like opened my bag or something to get something. And he asked me like, what the F was this? And he was like, this better be
Oh
somebody
no.
else's. And I was just like, oh no, they're mine. And he like could not believe for the life of him that I was smoking of all people out of the five of us, because I've always been like so introverted and I don't really do much of anything. I don't smoke weed like they do. Like I wasn't super like into alcohol, and I'm still not really into alcohol that much. But it was only because of the people I was around that I would end up being a super social smoker. And when I got to college, I completely stopped smoking because I wasn't around them anymore. Like I
Mm.
didn't even talk to most of them. At this point in my life, I don't talk to any of them, but like one person in that group. And that's because she was never one of the people to even smoke it originally anyway. But after I cut off those ties with those people, not only did the smoking stop, but I think as far as like friendships go, I think I was holding on to them because I had known them for so long and not really because they were good friends. So I was just like, in retrospect, if I wasn't 18, would I really be the one y'all be like, oh, hey, Troy, can you come with us to this? And Troy, let's go to this and let's do this. And I was like, I don't think I would be. I think it was literally just convenient. And not to say that we weren't friends before that, because we were, but I was so like, because I was an introvert for so long, and at one point I did not have any friends. I didn't have real friends up until I think sixth grade, seventh grade, something like that. I had one friend who I had known since I was like 8 years old. And I think a part of me wanted to belong so bad that I was just like, okay, why not? And so after I cut ties completely, I have never picked up a cigarette. Cigarettes are still the most disgusting thing in the world to me. And I hate it so much. And it just like, it baffles me that at one point I could think back to when I was like 17 or 18 and I was so like easily influenced. And that's why it's so interesting to me on BookTube when people like to say like, oh, like give high schoolers more credit than that. They're not that easily influenced. I'm like, but yes, they are. They are easily influenced. They're influenced by their surroundings, by what they see. There is truth to the people you surround yourself with may not be who you are, but it's a reflection of who you are. And they were a big reflection of myself in high school and the insecurities that I had. But it was like almost so relieving. And I hate to say that because they weren't bad people, but it was almost relieving to release them from my life completely.
Wow.
We over here just giving words today. Well, that's fine. I mean, if this is the way that our podcasts are going to go when we actually decide on a topic for the day, that's going to be heckin' interesting.
It's so crazy how much
happens like that.
It's so crazy how much like the people that we surround ourselves with, like you say, Troy, form so many of our habits and like speak to not necessarily maybe who we are, but parts of us, and maybe not even necessarily like the best parts of us. And I've also noticed that like we have this thing about holding on to people that we've known a long time, especially people from childhood. Like I had the same thing for a long, long time where I literally held on to people and I held on to relationships because I'd known them for so many years. And on one side, I feel like there was like an ego involved because it's like almost like bragging rights, like, oh, we've been friends for like X amount of time and it's like a really long time. But I also feel like the other part of it is that comfortability and that feeling of nostalgia. Like nostalgia is a bitch. Nostalgia will get you or keep you in some relationships and situations that you just there's no need for you to be in them anymore. They've served their purpose in your life and you need to move forward because you've grown past that point. But because of the nostalgia and like the loyalty that you feel like you owe, or you just you stay there. And I had friendships like that up until I would say about 5 years ago. I just had like a wake up call about a lot of people that I was still holding on to just based off of, well, I've known this person for so long. And I started to notice it's almost like I'm a believer, and I have a for the listeners, I have a very strong relationship with God, and I'm a person of faith, and I would get into these cycles, which is kind of what opened my eyes to the point that I needed to let these people go. Is whenever I would hang out with these people, and it wasn't like a group, it was like certain individuals. Whenever I would hang out with whoever it was, it would be like Groundhog's Day. We would only talk about the past. We talk about old memories. Oh, remember when we did this? Remember this? We would talk about the same thing over and over, and there was no growth. There was no, we clearly were not in the same place in our lives. We were clearly in completely different places in our lives. We really had nothing in common but the past. And the past was the only thing keeping us in contact. And it's literally like we would just get together and rehash the past. And after a while, I just got tired. I was like, nothing positive is coming out of this interaction. Like there's no growth. There's not even like enjoyment coming out of this. And that was when about, probably happened for about 6 months to a year where that cycle kept repeating itself. And I finally just woke up and was like, I need to let this person go. And it wasn't some like dramatic phone call or like text message or whatever. It was just that I just stopped answering the phone every time. And I stopped responding, and I stopped reaching out because I've also noticed that in my friend groups, a lot of times I'm the organizer. I'm the person that's always reaching out and making the plans and things like that. At least I used to be. I don't think I am anymore. Too lazy now. But I just stopped doing that, and they just fell off. Like the relationships just kind of like petered off and just ended. It wasn't anything dramatic, but yeah. Now we're just social media friends.
I have a lot of those.
Like, ooh, the ones that you say happy birthday to only because Facebook reminded you to say happy birthday.
Exactly.
Yep.
Pretty much.
There's a very select few people aside from my family that I can remember their birthdays. And only because a lot of people remember mine. And so I'm just like, well, damn, now I gotta remember yours.
That's funny.
No, let's see. Ella or L. I think it's L. If it's not L, I'm sorry. Correct me. But they say definitely I did a lot of soul searching after realizing things in my life were influencing my habits. Kim says I turned 29 this year, and I've known my best friend since we were 5 or 6. He moved last year from South Carolina to St. Louis, and it's so weird not having him be here. Now, I could relate to this. However, I literally moved my whole life. And so my suggestion to you, well, I guess it's because I'm used to people being around for a very short period of time and then leaving. Like, it's weirder for me to be like, wow, like, I still see you every day. It's been 5 years. Like, you're not PCS yet? So it's like, I think about those kind of friendships. And what's funny is I had a lot of friendships from when I lived overseas and stuff that translated and moved on with me to college. And after I graduated college, but it wasn't until I started trying to make like active decisions for what I wanted to do with my life that like a lot of these people fell off. Or unfortunately, like even recently, like with this new, I'm going to call it a reawakening, because this particular time is really when our generation has taken the forefront in the movement of Black Lives Matters and just standing up against racial injustice and police brutality. It's really shown that this particular time, we are the ones leading it. And I don't know what it is about this time, because I've always been vocal, but this time I lost friends.
Oh,
and
really?
Not like friends that, you know, it's like, oh, I talk to them sometimes. Like I was like in their wedding type level friends.
Wow.
And it's like, I was thinking about it because, you know, I'm hurt. Like I'm still hurting about it because I'm like, I thought your first child was going to be my god baby. Like that was the connection I thought I had with them. But then it's like,
wow,
because obviously not all of my friends are Black. And I even lost some Black friends as well who wanted to quote me and say, well, if you're going to talk about the community, what about Black on Black crime? Which, you know, just for future reference to anybody listening to this, Black on Black crime is not a thing. It's called proximity crime. You know, when you live in the same area as somebody, you're more than likely going to get murdered by somebody in your neighborhood. And considering that the demographic of most Black areas are majority Black, then that means you more likely get killed by a Black person. The same way in a place where there's white people as a high demographic will get killed by other white people. So
yeah, if there's no such thing,
I will freak out.
White on white crime or Hispanic on Hispanic crime or Latino or Asian. If those aren't a thing, Black on Black crime is also not a thing. Like it's just logic. It's common sense.
You would think, but common sense is not so common. Like I literally had a person. I'm still trying to evaluate what I'm going to do in terms of this relationship. But they literally wrote me and was like, oh yeah, we were gonna go protesting, but we went a little bit overboard at brunch.
Yikes.
Jesus.
I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I just want to make sure that I heard correctly. So your excuse for not protesting is that y'all were at brunch for too long? It must be nice to be able to go brunch while we're being murdered in the street, but go off. Like, cool.
Why didn't they just lie and say, oh, well, you know, I'm scared of the coronavirus and then move on? Like, dang, they were bold.
I was so hurt, I didn't even respond to it. Like, I was literally just like, wow, this person's been my friend for over a decade and they don't care about me. Because if you care, there's no way if you cared about me that you would be honest and say that you were gonna protest and go stand up with me and you know, show your support for me. But brunch is what stopped you. French toast and a mimosa.
And a mimosa.
French toast and a mimosa stopped you from supporting me. And no, she is not Black. She's mixed with a different marginalized group. But legit, like, I cried so hard after reading that message. And then, you know, they want to act like everything's cool. And I'm just like, how are you not seeing what you just, like, you didn't say you don't care about me. Your actions said that you don't care about me. And in this day and age, I don't have time for people who can really think like that and then stand behind Christianity and claim that we should all love each other. And you can't even put your mimosa down to stand up for human rights.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm sorry.
I was so hurt. I was like, you know what? And, you know, you two already know, but like, clearly God has been trying to push me in a direction where I need to stop caring and trying to help everybody else before helping myself. And so he's really just been showing me people, and I've just had to be like, block, X, block, X, block.
Unsubscribe, blocked, and unfollowed.
Oh my God, the amount of unsubscribes that I've been doing. My Twitter, I've never blocked people on Twitter ever until last weekend. Blocking hoes left and right. Just, nope. Don't have time for your energy. Don't have time for your negativity. You're whack. You'll figure it out soon. Nope. Everybody can go. It's cool. The smaller my group, I feel like the more tight-knit I can be anyway. It's less people I have to be concerned with anyway.
That's true. I don't believe in big group chats. That just seems like a very bad idea.
Oh, it's an extremely bad idea. It's literally a recipe for disaster. And my thing is, unless you are close friends with every single person in that group, which I don't know how that would be possible, but I guess somewhere it is. Somebody is gonna have motives that aren't the best, but you know, it's one of those things that people have to find out the hard way.
It's cool to be down with Black people right now. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but if y'all want to keep being cool, y'all can keep shopping at my shop because I really want to buy a laser engraver.
Period.
Nice.
It's like,
I will say that this time has really exposed a lot of people.
Yeah.
From Choi, your camera's on. Did you know?
My camera's on?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
There you go. From, just had to let you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But a lot of people have been exposed during this time, like from, you know, people that we don't know, people that we just see on social media, to celebrities, to even the closest people in our lives, sometimes to people like that you work with, coworkers, bosses. Their level of exposure of people is crazy. I mean, there are people that I've always been on the fence about. Like, for example, I just found out today that my ex-boss, she was like 2 bosses ago, and I really disliked this person, but I did my best to give. My thing is, I always go with my gut instinct, but I still give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like in my soul, I'm like, I do not like this person. I don't like them. But then outwardly, I give them the benefit of the doubt because I feel that that's the right thing to do until they prove my gut instinct right, which they usually do. And then I'm like, well, always knew they would try. But I remember my ex-boss one day, this was at my old job. This was a few years ago. We got into an argument. It was me and my best friend, Cassandra. We worked at the same place. And we got into an argument with her because this was during the time of the first Black Lives Matter when it originally happened. And this is around the time of Colin Kaepernick kneeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how this came up at work because I have learned over the years to never discuss race or politics at work, because I usually work in corporate environments, and the racism just starts jumping out of people, and then I can never ever look at them the same, and then I want to punch them in the face every day at work, and it never makes for a good work environment. But for some reason, we got on this topic because it was one of those situations where she was our boss, but we also hung out with her outside of work. Does that make sense?
Oh, that sounds like a disaster.
Well, she wasn't my friend. Like, I'm the kind of person that people will claim me as their friend, and I'm like, I'm not friends with you. But okay.
I never verified this.
Like, they'll be like, oh yeah, we're friends. And I'm like, but we're not though.
Oh, no.
But she was really good friends with Cassie, like really good friends with Cassie. So, anywho's, we got onto the topic of the kneeling, and me and Cassie are like, oh my gosh, we love him, like we're supporting, da 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 da. And there was this awkward silence, and then she goes into her views. By the way, let me just give background. She is a half Mexican, half white woman from the Midwest.
I already know where this is going.
Grew up in a privileged home. Her father's white, her mother's Mexican, but she's always denied her Mexican roots, and she's always tried to be as white identifying as possible. And she has fair skin, but she definitely has mestizo features, but she's always tried to not identify with her Mexican side, and has always clung to her white side like nothing, like to the point where I heard a story about her. This is a complete segue, but I have to paint this background for y'all so you know who we're dealing with here. There was literally a point in time where she was at a restaurant, and a Hispanic man walked into the restaurant, and she was like, with his date. And she just looked at him, and she was like, I would never date a Hispanic man or a Latino man. Never. And we're just looking at her like,
Lord.
She did not speak Spanish. She did not. She was so completely disconnected from her heritage on that side. So that's the background of this person, right? So we're talking about Colin Kaepernick. There's this awkward silence, and all of a sudden she goes, I think it's disrespectful what he's doing. And it was almost like our heads at the same time were like, excuse me? And she was just like, kneeling is so disrespectful. And when I tell you, we almost got into a fist fight at work. Like, we literally dragged her in the most corporate, polite way, because we were coming with facts. We were like, well, he did consult with someone in the military, and they said that it wasn't disrespectful, that kneeling was the most respectful thing that he could do. He did consulted with several people. Like, we were pulling out facts, receipts, everything, right? Because it's like, you don't want to get super emotional, because then you're labeled as the angry Black woman, right? Mm-hmm. So we're trying to stay calm. We're bringing out all these facts, all these receipts. And then we're just like, well, why do you feel it's respectful? Like, Cassie's literally engaged to a man in the military. So we're just like, what are you even talking about? And because her whole thing was like, it's disrespectful to our troops to not stand during the national anthem and while the flag is on the field. And we're just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, where are your facts? Because that's not true. And then she used another tactic, and she was just like, well, I just feel like it's distracting from. What?
I lived on a military base.
Sorry?
At 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we used to run in.
Right. And she was like,
standing. Stop it.
She was like, oh, and I just feel that, it's distracting from the game. Like, this is about the game, and he's distracting. He needs to pick another time. And we were just like, wait, what? While Black men are being shot by police? Like, what? Black men and women are being killed? Like, what are you talking about? This is bigger than football. And she would just be like, well, I understand, and that's very all well and good that he's doing that, but he needs to do that when he's not on the field. I'm getting heated just thinking.
They want the little monkey to play. They don't want him to speak, right? Like,
God, but it gets worse. It gets worse. So, years have passed. I don't work with her anymore. She moved away. She moved back to her little Midwest town. I'm not going to expose her. She's, she works for Mac now. I will expose that. And how you can mute people on Instagram?
Yep.
I muted her long ago. Well, I hear from Cassie today that she's on her, because Mac came out. Mac was one of the first companies that came out and was like, this is where we stand. 100% Black Lives Matter. If you're not with us, you're against us, and you got to go. You're not going to be part of our company. If you're, they came out very strong, like out the gate. They were just like, look, this is what it is. And so she works for Mac, and she has a position of leadership in the company. in her region or whatever. I hear from Cassie today. She's been posting Black Lives Matter stuff on her stories. She has been just Black Lives Matter up. And it took everything within me. I was like, wow, I've really grown as a person. To not unmute her and go and drag her on her own platform.
Oh my God.
Like, oh, this is an interesting change of pace. And tag Matt and everything. I was like, let me not, because
girl, I would have. You about to lose your job.
Like, let me not do that. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. She's grown as a person.
Listen, she'd have lost her job that day. Like, you alive?
It took everything in me.
I'd have tagged Mac. She lying, Mac. Here's the real story. And I'd have done it.
I wanted to be like, interesting.
Nah, the Lord is working on
Brittany? Me. That's why I was like, wow, I've come far, Lord, because, I had to hold myself back. I was like, I could just send a little anonymous direct message to Mac Cosmetics, like, especially like if I could
anonymous. I'd have put that mess on my social media with a picture of her, like, this works for you. She's trash. Like, again, I am grown.
Bold.
I have only dragged 2 people during this entire movement. This time, I have grown.
Right?
Ooh.
But the level of pandering that I have seen from certain individuals, I'm not even talking about companies. Companies are going to do what companies do because they're trying to save their money, right? They're trying not to lose money and customers. But people that I know personally, or somewhat personally, professionally, whatever, I know for a fact that they have always had different views. For them to be posting Black Lives Matter, I'm like, really interesting. It didn't matter, a couple months ago, but okay. Man. I see you're clearly pandering because you're trying to keep your little corporate position, or you're trying to look good in front of so and so and so and so. The worst, I think, is this one particular couple that I know, and they're an interracial couple. And I will just make this disclaimer once again, because people just tend to get sensitive about interracial couples. I have nothing against it. Okay, nothing. But some of these situations really have me questioning people's logic, sanity, and self-worth. But I digress. So there's this interracial couple that I know, not well, okay, but I do know them. And it's a Black woman and a white man. And I've always wondered how their relationship works because they've been together for a few years now. They have a child together as well. And he's also in the military, but he's one of those who he doesn't think there's anything wrong with the Confederate flag still being. He thinks that's history. I remember for a while, because where I live, there's a very prominent university near me. It's called University of North Carolina, UNC. And for a while, a lot of the students were against some of the more racist statues that were on their campus, and they were like campaigning hard. This was before even this this round of Black Lives Matter really heating up, because UNC is a very progressive school. And a lot of the students were like, yo, we need to get these statues like out of here. Like, this is not cool. And I remember he had a whole conversation with me about how he feels that this is a part of American history. And we all countries have a part of history that they don't like, but that doesn't mean you should get rid of it. And then he used the argument of, well, if you get rid of it, then you'll forget it. And if you forget it, it's going to repeat. It's going to repeat. And I'm looking at him like,
ain't nobody going to repeat no Confederate flag, loser.
Let's be clear. When the Confederate flag was flying, because this last reiteration of the Confederate flag is actually made by a white supremacist group, but we'll go back to that. People who are saying that act like Black people can't own weapons now.
Right.
Right. Not if you want to. I'm not a slave. I'm not my ancestors. You can get popped like the rest of them.
They love to say, stand my ground. Well, bitch, I'ma stand mine.
Listen, Second Amendment rights apply to me too.
Fact. And I mean, a lot of his political stances, I will just come out and say he voted for Trump.
Obviously.
Just so many things that I would just always look at this girl, this Black woman, and I'll just be like, how can you stand him? And how can you raise a child, a little girl, 2 years old, so cute? And I would just be like, I don't understand this. Like, And she would always say, well, we don't have to have the same political beliefs. We don't have to believe the same things. That's why we're individuals. This is her thing. That's why we're individuals. We're different. I listen to him. He listens to me. And you know who's been mad quiet on social media ever since everything happened? Them.
There are certain things you don't compromise on. And for me, politics, I'm not saying that we have to share the same beliefs, but you cannot tell me that you voted for a man like Trump. And basically, to me, it just looks like you're saying you literally don't care that this man incites hatred and bigotry.
Cause like, God damn, there Republicans ain't as bad as him. Like, God dang, like he is the worst.
You're a Republican, but you got to explain to me why because saying he's a Republican is not good enough. This man has openly spread hatred, openly put people in danger, encouraged people to commit violent acts towards people because he didn't like what they were personally saying. Like, I don't have, because I know a guy who I used to date back in the day, and he was like, Queen, we got to do better. And I was like, first of all, when you greet me as Queen, you are either two different types of African-American males, because that's usually the ones that greet me as Queen. You're either the Hotep one who doesn't believe that I have a place in his society unless it's beneath him, or he's the one that's like trying to find a connection because he realizes he has no connection. And I'm just like, I'm not arguing about the following things. Human rights. If we don't agree on human rights, we cannot be together. If I do choose to step out and date interracially, literally the first couple of questions I'm going to ask is, how does your family feel about Black people?
Yes.
I'm not playing that game. I'm not about to catch emotions and then go home and have your grandma call me a colored girl. No.
Oh, dear God.
That is happened before. So, hey.
It happens. And that was the part that always, like, whenever I would talk to her, I would always have these conversations with her, because one of the first things that she would tell me, I remember when George Floyd's murder first occurred, she texted me and was like, when are you free to talk? And when I talked to her, she was like, I can't talk about this at home. And that just broke my heart. It made me so sad. Yeah, she was like, I can't really talk about this at home. And I was like, oh, you can't? She was just like, I mean, yeah, we can talk about it, but he doesn't really understand what I'm going through. And he doesn't really see not like what the big deal is, but he just doesn't see how this is different from any of the other Black people that are being. And I was like, oh, that sounds bad, girl. I was like, if he said that to you, that's horrific.
But what does she mean she can't? Like, can't implies that he is saying, you're not allowed to do this, bro.
Right. But it sounds like they've at least tried. Like, okay, so I have friends that date interracially all the time, and there are people that are open to having conversations. Like, what it sounds, I can see this conversation being difficult to have if you were dating somebody of another color, especially white. But at the same time, it's the kind of conversation that you should have, understanding that you two are different. Because like I said, I think it's gotta be rough, because I got friends that text me and I always want to ask them, like, have you talked to your husband about how you're feeling? Because like I know you're way comfortable telling us, but like, he's your husband. And like, I believe in marriage. So, I be trying to like encourage, like, hey, make sure you talk to your husband about this too, so he can really understand you. Like, this is just something y'all could grow together with. Because listen, I don't have to like who my friend loves. As long as my friends love him, I'm there. The moment she say no, I'm out. So while she's in this, I'm definitely going to be like, talk to your husband. Because to me, this is a conversation I would have had in very early on in the dating life, because for me, it's something that I cannot agree to disagree on.
I feel like there are two types of people who are interested in dating interracially on the other side of things. Like, for us as Black people, and especially as Black women, sometimes you don't necessarily get a choice, in the sense that you have to expand your options. Like, I know a lot of Black girls who are starting to, younger girls, I say girls, not women, because they're in their early 20s. Some of them are in college, who are dating interracially because they're starting to expand their options, because they're coming to contact, especially in college and things like that, with maybe the Black boy that they like doesn't even date Black girls. The number of times I've heard that has just been crazy to me. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. So they're like, okay, well, I will expand my options because I'm not about to be single, and I'm not just gonna wait around. Like, I want to date too. Like, I want to be part of the scene. I want to have fun. I want to go on dates and do things. And I feel like there's two sides. I feel like there's the side of the men who are interested, or the other partners who are interested, who are not of their race, who are not Black. They either are intrigued by your Blackness, kind of like a fetishy type thing, or just they've heard certain stereotypes and so they're curious, or they're actually people who are looking to date you because of you, your personality. My thing, when it gets to the point of a relationship where it gets to the point of marriage, if you're actually going to marry somebody and you're going to dedicate your life to them into building a future, building a family, my thing is, you're saying that you love this person and you're going to be with them through thick and thin. I don't understand how you can love someone on that type of level where you're literally going to legally bind yourself to them for life, ideally, and have children with this person, but you don't care about anyone else that looks like them. Just them. But everybody else is like, you could take it or leave it. Like, you have no sense of compassion, no sense of caring, no sense of sympathy for anyone else that looks like them. You just like them. That, to me, I've seen that a lot. Like, I hate to say that, and I really don't have anything against interracial relationships. I really don't. But I've seen that a lot. The ones that are actually built on true love and companionship, those, to me, from what I've seen, are in the minority. Okay, I hate to say this, but they're in the minority, because some of the things that I've heard and some of the stories that I've heard from people I know just have me really wondering about people's self-worth, because I would not be able to stay in a relationship like that. Like, certain microaggressions that have been done and said, the lack of empathy, the lack of understanding. And it's like, okay, they're not going to completely get it, right? Like, you can't, like, I'm never going to understand what it is to be a white person or Indian person. Like, I'm just never going to understand. But if I love someone who's white or who's Indian or who, whatever, I'm certainly going to take the extra mile to educate myself. You know, that's the new phrase now. Everybody's saying they're educating themselves. I would actually take the extra mile to educate myself, try to put myself in their shoes, try to understand as much as I possibly can, because I quote unquote love this person. So that has been the crazy part for me, just from the people I know in my circle, that I'm having to hear all these stories, especially with things heating up. Oh, especially when the riots were really hot. Some of the stories I heard, I was just like, and you have to go home and sleep in the same bed as this person? Are you okay?
But if you think about it, though, like, you know, if you're just dating, or even if you're married to somebody in an interracial relationship, if it's just you and him, then at the very least, you know, you can just walk the hell out. But having a child with that person, not only are you putting that child in a terrible predicament, because if he feels that way, or if she feels that way, or their family are going to treat your child the exact way they're treating you, because whatever little bit of whatever the interracial part is not going to stop them from looking at this child and being like, well, this child's Black.
Right.
Like, period. Like, this kid could be super white passing, and listen, the comment, oh, well, at least they look like us, is horrible. Like, that's a real comment people get. It's like, oh, they look like us.
Real comment. That is
a real comment. And that's
a microaggression. Like, that's still like going to mess up a kid's psyche. Like, that's going to screw it up. And that's why you find a lot of biracial children who will grow up and even say that they don't know how to feel about things, because one side of their family is like, oh, well, don't go outside, you'll get too dark. And they're lighter than me. No. And I saw, do you guys know, I think her name's Asia Jackson on YouTube.
Yeah.
She literally said that when she would go, I can't remember what her mom is, but she's Asian. And when she would go to her mom's home country, they would tell her, like, oh, you can't go outside because you'd get too dark.
Ooh, I really like her content too. I want to say the country. It's like, I want to say it's like Philippines or something like that, but I might be completely wrong. But yeah, I mean, Asians have a lot of self-hate issues, and colorism is very big in that community, which is very unfortunate, especially with South Asians. So that's like a whole nother discussion when we start talking about colorism. But yeah, I this has been a very interesting time period for relationships, especially people who are in interracial relationships, because it's like first you had the quarantine where you're stuck with this person all the time. So you're forced to confront their biases, their views, like you're with them every day, 24/7. You can't go anywhere. And then we have the Black Lives Matter movement reigniting and really taking force and completely just taking over the world. And you're really starting to see people's biases come out. And it's so interesting to me because I keep going back to this one friend because her situation, I feel like somebody needs to talk about it. But she has said such things as, well, we are, what is, agree to disagree. There we go. Agree to disagree. She said that about her and her husband. She's also said that that it's okay for them to not see things exactly in the right way because he wasn't raised the same way as her and blah, blah, blah. What else has she said? Oh, she also said that there's certain things that she just won't bring up at home because she'd rather keep the peace. And she said she loves to say, you'll see this when you're married or when you get into a long term
No, baby,
like
no.
certain things like you would just rather have a peaceful home, so you just don't bring up certain things. And I'm like, oh
There's a difference between not fighting about washing the dishes and fighting about race.
Like, because my dad has always said that there are like you learn to pick your battles, but me personally, I can't see myself choosing to not speak up about an issue that directly affects me and my children. Because at the end of the day, even if I were to marry someone outside of my race, it's still a high chance that my children can come out looking more Black than the other race.
Right.
And God forbid if I have sons, if I want to sit down with my husband and talk to my kids about how they need to be careful and all that stuff, and then my husband thinks it's no big deal, like what message is that sending my children?
Right.
So no, I mean, again, I have friends that are in very healthy interracial relationships, and I'm like, so I see it's possible, but I've also been seeing a lot of comments where I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I do too, but I think it's interesting because my friend who's in the most successful interracial relationship I've seen, her husband literally grew up within the Black community in a very large way. So it's not even necessarily like he had to learn a lot of things. There are a lot of things that he's just seen firsthand because he grew up within the community, and he's had to even check certain people in his classes and things like that. Certain white people who are just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And he's checked them and he's like, no, we're not doing that. And I just find that interesting.
I appreciate those kind of people. Just shut it down. Nope.
Yeah, he shuts it down from jump. He's just like, no, we're not going to talk about, phrases like Black on Black crime or just stupid things that certain people bring up to try to negate the, 400 years of oppression and actual factual historical.
Isn't allowed to talk about Black Lives Matter. My supervisor sent out a message reminding us that we don't discuss politics in the office, and I was angry that I responded and said, being Black is not a political statement.
Good for you.
I've been teleworking for a while now.
Oh my God. Okay, here's my thing. This is something that I wanted to say back when we were talking about Trump and Republicans. I feel like people get things twisted because a Republican, being a Republican, identifying as a Republican, that is a political party. I feel that in the past, I don't know, probably since a little bit before President Obama ran for president the first time around, it somehow became a religion. And if you really think about the tenets of a religion, it has become a religion. And that is where we get the divergence of the Republican Party, where we have the people who are literally just Republican as a political party that they subscribe to because of its political, like the views. When you look up Republican, the things that they subscribe to, that's what they like. And then you have the alt-right, who are the extremists, And it's like they treat it literally like a religion.
Alt-rights are...
It's creepy.
Listen, whenever I hear like alt-right and alt-left, I'm always like, wait, which extreme is that side on? Like, I always forget. I'm like, I know one side is white supremacy disguised
alt-right.
Okay, alt-right.
That's the alt-right.
Alt-right is that one. I'm always confused by that.
The reason I say it's a religion, because their views go well beyond politics. Their views bleed over into every area of their lives. Their views are, they will die on a hill on their views and on their beliefs. Like, very much like religious people will die on a hill on their faith. And to me, I think that that's two different things. Like, we've gone well beyond politics. We've gone well beyond how you feel like money should be spent fiscally and how government should be run and how social programs should be set up. Like, we have gone well beyond that. We are in a dark, dark place. And I have a story to tell y'all about something that happened to me today at work.
Oh, no.
Lord.
Yeah. Do we need to brace ourselves? Because usually when people start off like that, it's always something where it's like,
Yeah, I want to preface this by saying that I absolutely love my workplace. I get along with every single person I work there. It is an amazing place to work. I say that wholeheartedly. I literally have no negatives about this job. I freaking love it. However, we had an incident today where I had an interaction with an alt-right person. And I won't go into detail because it just happened today and I kind of want to give it some time. But essentially, while he was storming out the door, he found great pleasure in saying to me, "Black Lives Matter sucks. It's trash."
Wow, he's so creative.
And he was so angry and so aggressive. It was this old white man. And I remember being in such shock. You know when you're in shock and you know you're upset, but you can't feel it yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. Thankfully, my boss and my superiors and my coworkers handled the situation amazingly well, and he's no longer welcome there. But the situation, to me, just exacerbated even more the difference between alt-right and people who are, like you said, Brittany, basically just using that word to disguise the fact that they're extreme racists, and the Republican Party. Because I actually know people who are a part of the Republican Party, and while I don't 100% agree with the Republican Party and their views, I've been able to have intelligent conversations with these people. And yes, these are Black people.
Yes.
And I've been able to have intelligent conversations with them about why they're Republican and what made them interested in affiliating themselves with Republican versus Democrat versus independent. And we've been able to have dialogue, and I'm actually able to say out of my mouth, okay, I can see how you feel that way. Okay, I can see that. Okay, I understand. But alt-right, no, that's straight hate. That's race. Those are the racists. Those are the KKK members. Those, no. No.
See,
and there is a difference. And I do believe that Trump subscribes to the former.
People also have to remember that the party that actually abolished slavery was the Republican Party.
It was the Republican Party, yeah.
Federalists became Democrat. Like, they were the ones that were like, nah, we got to keep our property because how are we going to get things done? So if you look at the evolution of political parties, like, that's the reason why I'm independent, because I don't trust either party, because both parties were created by people who somehow felt like they were superior over my people. And the idea of the political parties haven't really evolved much from those time frames. They've literally switched slavery with women's rights at this point.
And I will say that for those of you who really want to educate yourself on the foundations of this country and how steeped it is in racism, like if you're one of those people that you're really, really trying to educate yourself and fully understand, I highly recommend Stamped from the Beginning. Highly. I'm listening to the audiobook, and it's very eye-opening, even for me as a Black person. It is like I'm learning things and I'm learning perspectives in a way that is just, I'm like, wow. So highly recommend that read. The audiobook is really good. I think the audiobook is an easy way to digest things, because I found that sometimes when you're unfamiliar or uncomfortable with topics like this and you're trying to literally read the book, it's very easy to put it away when you become uncomfortable or you get confronted with your own biases or your own racism, your own internalized hatred, or whatever it may be, depending upon if you're white, black, another non-black person of color. We all have levels of internalized hatred and racism. We all have internalized whiteness. We all have all these biases that we are not even fully aware of, that you have to consciously unlearn and consciously try to run away from as much as possible. And because if you're raised in a society, it's going to happen to different degrees, depending on who you are and what you look like. And reading this book, I think, is easier when it's digested as an audiobook. So that's just my little recommendation. That's my, what is it? I'm trying to educate. I swear to God, if I hear that phrase one more time.
Listen,
that is my, I'm trying to educate myself tip of the night. What now, Brittany?
You are being nice by gracing them and sharing with them what you are reading. We are not teachers. Y'all don't even pay the teachers that have the qualification to teach good enough money to teach. I ain't teaching for free. So I didn't say that because I'm so tired of take the time to educate them. We got educated in the same system.
Yeah.
I ain't educating nobody for free.
I had to seek out, I had to literally seek out knowledge about myself.
Right.
When you say it that way, you realize how mind-blowing that. I had to go out of my way to learn about myself, my people, etc. I was not privileged enough. I was not lucky enough to have that taught to me in school. And then not only did I have to go out of my way to seek that knowledge, I then had to unlearn the knowledge that was fed to me, because that knowledge was falsified, was twisted, was fake as fuck, was straight up lies. Okay, can we talk about Thanksgiving? Straight up lies.
Can we talk about
what was it? Who was I talking to?
Listen, there's a list. Thanksgiving, the Emancipation Proclamation, the fact that Native Americans also.
Who was it?
People. There are so many things that they just. Oh, don't get me started. There's like a long list. It's a long list.
Was I talking to y'all? Was I talking to y'all when you told me that now in schools, or not now in schools, but in schools, certain teachers were telling their students that slavery wasn't that bad.
Oh yeah,
and the slaves were happy, and they actually were well taken. Teachers telling students, young students, I'm talking in third grade, second grade, fourth grade, slavery wasn't that bad. The slaves were actually happy. They were being taken care of on the plantations. They were looked at as family. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You're telling like 8, 9, 10-year-olds what?
That was told in the great old state of Texas.
God.
But there was actually a question.
I would love for my child to come home from school.
I can't have children because y'all would see me on the news setting it off. But there was a question in the chat that says, how do you feel about white writers who write Black stories? O'Shleigh's better at words than me.
Here's the thing. I think, because there is actually a book written by a white man about Black characters that I actually like. It's one of my favorite books because I can see how much research went into the book. So much research, and how much care he took with writing it. But I will say uniformly, I don't like it. But I think it's all about how it's handled, because if you're going to do the research, if you're actually going to go vacation in the resorts, not to actually interact with the culture, you absolutely know nothing about Black history at all, please do not write a book about Black people. Please don't. Like, just stay in your lane. It's okay. You can write about the white characters in the rivers that you're used to. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
In the rivers that you're used to.
I'm just saying.
We're really quoting TLC
Don't do
today.
We went from red light special
But I'm just like, don't
waterfalls.
But in this day and age, not only will you be dragged by Black Twitter, you will also be dragged by Black BookTube. Don't do it, sir or
Also,
ma'am.
We're
Or
very
whoever, however you're identified. Don't do it.
aware how much white authors get paid over Black authors.
Yo.
So at this point, it's like, it's not even me to say that I don't like it. What I don't understand is there are people writing own story books who can't get their books published because it's a black story with Black friends and a Black love interest. But then
that was me.
Makes
that was me, by the way.
And makes the love interest a white guy. Now all of a sudden it's supposed to be a bestseller because it's diverse. It's just like,
when you are trying to be published by one of the major publishing, what?
The comment.
Oh, sorry. When you're trying to be published by one of the major publishing houses.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Did you see the comment? There was a whole controversy this week about a white author, about a white passing girl who is the descendant of Gullah conjure. Okay.
Oh, I did hear about that.
I did not hear about that because the Gullah people are some of the most stepped on culturally people. Because you remember back in the day when we watched Gullah Island? Like none of us even understood how important that show really was. None of us.
We didn't.
We had no idea they had stripped a culture created from Black people, from Africans creating their own society in America. We had no idea this was even a thing that happened because they whitewashed it and gave us Gullah Island. So I'm sorry. In this particular instance, that is a no. Absolutely not. How dare you? And then you had the audacity to make her white passing. No. No, because that they clearly don't understand the Gullah women.
And honestly, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say uniformly no. Because don't get it twisted. When we ask for representation in books from white authors, we're not asking for white authors to tell our stories. We're asking for white authors to actually accurately represent the world. Like, how are you going to write a whole book about a whole world this person is going through life? They are not interacting with one Black person, one person of any other color, nobody part of the queer community, just whiteness, whiteness. And yes, there are places like that, but that's what we're asking for. Like, oh, you couldn't give us a side character. You couldn't give us a fucking bodega man. You couldn't give us nothing. You couldn't give us anything. Okay, thank you. Actually, take our histories, our stories that are ours to tell, and then you try to make money off of it because you know you're going to get a bigger advance than the Black author that was going to tell their story. No, you need to sit down and eat your food because you will be dragged, you will be canceled, and we will not buy anything or support you. Like, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm so happy somebody else is reading people today.
What did Brittany say a couple of days ago in the group chat where she was
because you want to tell me that my story.
Oh wait, she's breaking up.
You want to tell me that my story.
Oh, Chalet?
Go ahead, Troy.
Wait, am I breaking up or is Oshale breaking up?
I think it was Oshale, but go ahead, Troy.
Oh no, Troy, come back.
No, Oshale, you were breaking up.
We're gonna try to get Troy back.
No, you were
me?
Yeah, you were breaking up.
You just stopped talking and then you came back and we were like, wait, what? This is why we do test podcasts.
Exactly.
Here.
Oh my God. Troy, what did you say?
I was saying, like, when Brittany said a few days ago in our group chat where she was just like, everyone talks about her mouth, but in retrospect, they should worry about you and I because we're so quiet. That's always the quiet ones that have the worst things to say.
Listen, everybody is always so worried about me and what I got to say. Like, please. I know for a fact that quiet people are crazier. My brother is super introverted until you set him off. And when you set him off, you look so shook and scared because he's gone all the way off. Like, the quiet people say the best reads. I don't care what anybody says. Also, can we just talk about Abominable talking about some of the most mainstream rep we have for Gullah people is Trick Daddy?
I'm so over this whole life.
I screaming.
God, I just appreciate it.
But I'm hoping
Did we lose her again?
Can y'all hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, now we can.
Did y'all lose me again?
Yeah, you dropped out again.
You just keep dropping out randomly.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on with my internet because I'm the one hosting this live.
I mean,
I'm so
I'll
sorry.
just say Abominable. I know he's geeky. It's just hilarious
I'm so sorry,
to me.
y'all. I don't know what's going on with my internet.
Oh, wow.
This is really intense.
Justine, I will continue until your thing comes back, but she's breaking up really bad.
Real bad.
Just
like
let me
she sounds like she's lagging in a video game.
Hear me at any point.
Girl, we can barely hear you now.
I sent you a private chat. We can't hear you, so I don't know if you can hear us. Also, no, okay. I'm reading comments while we're waiting for Oshale. I'm tired of seeing black book lists with the same white approved books. A word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Oshale says she can hear it. Man, we have technical difficulties whenever we try something new.
Every time.
I'm not gonna speak up about the hate you give in Dear Martin for two very serious reasons. And we've said this a million times on this book club / podcast. We know for a fact that those books were not written for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're being suggested as reading material to white people makes perfect sense because those are not our books. I
agree with Abominable. I don't want to disrespect the author because I do understand why the book was written. I understand who it was written for. I am a black girl who literally went to white schools. I went to some black schools, but mainly we just lost Oshale altogether.
She dropped straight out. Wow.
Straight out.
She'll be back soon, guys.
Yeah. But at the same time, I did not need to read that. I have people that I've known since I was young, incarcerated, who have died, and I didn't need to read it. You know, I didn't need to be triggered by those things. So I won't say anything bad about it. You know, if white people and non-black people did get something out of it, that's great. But I've said my piece on Thug before, and I don't need that beef.
Yeah, we don't talk about those because we respect the authors and we understand that publishing books was an accomplishment. We just choose not to discuss their books on our channel. Well, those particular books, other books that they have written, they're fine, but like we don't discuss the Black trauma that we've actually endured ourselves. It's just something that we've decided as a group that we weren't going to do. Also, on another podcast, not today, we will actually be talking in depth about colorism in the Black community. It's just a topic that we feel like we need to prepare for because we don't want to jump off stuff on that kind of topic. So it
would take a whole live by itself as well. Like just entering it into one live, I don't think would be enough.
No, it's not. It has to be its own thing because that topic is a topic where we have to address the Black community as a whole because yes, we're fighting against police brutality and trying to stand up for ourselves, but at some point we're going to also have to start addressing like our own things. But I'm not ready to address those yet. Also, Night Owl Reader, I'm so glad you're reading War Girls because we all know I'm a Tochi stan. I will say though, it's been very interesting to see the booktube community as a whole during this fun times. Oshley, can you hear us yet?
Oshley just keeps on jumping in saying random words.
But she can't hear us either.
Really?
Yeah, she just texted me and she just texted our group and said she can't hear us. See, this is why we're doing a test podcast, guys.
Right. To get all the kinks out.
Yeah. She can hear us now, but we can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Now
we can now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, we can hear you now. Well, kind of. You might be jumping in and out again. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes in the chat.
I will keep talking to our peeps while y'all two figure that out. So let me see, what else are we gonna talk about? I do want to know how you guys are doing reading War Girls. Honestly, it was one of my favorite books to read in 2019, and I got to buddy read it with Jerry from Onyx Pages, and that was like our first activity together. Because now we're like real friends. I can't wait. To me, War Girls, or rather, let me refit. To me, Tochi Onyebuchi is an author that does not get the love that he deserves because he is a dark-skinned Black man. Like, I honestly believe that, especially after we interviewed him. It was one of those things where it was just like, he is kind of awesome. Do I fangirl? Absolutely. Am I biased? Probably. But
I was just about to say, like, any Black nerd already gets my money.
Listen, the moment he said that War Girl, part of the way that he built certain parts of War Girls was inspired by Gundam anime, I was like, yep, we're good.
That's all I need to hear.
That's all I needed to hear, guys. It's like, no, we're good. We're fine. This is all I needed to hear.
Speaking of nerdy, my neighbor right across from me, this whole life, he's been playing Crash Bandicoot games, and I've just been watching him. And I'm like, this is probably creepy, but I'm just watching his TV.
Is it a little creepy? Yeah, because does that mean you're looking outside of your window, looking through his window?
Listen, they're really weird because they'll like look into my window all day. So you know what? This is payback. But they have a really big screen TV, and it's like you could see it from Mars.
Wow.
And they're just like, they'll just sit in their porch and look inside of our apartment. It's so creepy.
Wait a minute.
I'm serious. It's like this Black couple right across from us.
So, and they leave their window open because they know y'all watch?
No, they leave their windows open because they watch people.
Oh.
This is my first time ever looking across because it's so dark outside.
I got nothing. Wow. Wow. Oh yeah, I will continue to stand for Tochi. And Oshley said she's going to be in the chat. For some reason, it shows that she's in our thing, but it will not actually pick her up. So this is why we do practice podcasts. Honestly, we've been trying to debate the format and all that stuff, but also we want to just be able to come and talk and just hear what you guys have to say and all that stuff. So Oshley will be in the chat chatting with all of us. Oh, that totally reminds me. So let me figure out the best way to word this question. Nope, I can't ask a question because I don't remember.
What was it about? You know what it was about?
No, I was going to ask a booktube question and then I decided not to.
Oh. Well, you know what? If you have to second guess it, then probably not.
I was like, if you have to second guess it, then that means you shouldn't say it on live. That's pretty much.
That's not PC. It's not. It's not. It's gonna get us in trouble. So just don't ask.
Look, Oshley, obviously we'll tell you later. Like, stop.
I don't even know what it is. So
nope. Oh, also, in Jerry from Onyx Pages, Tati from Musical Tati, and Isis from Sister Sci-Fi, they're doing a slow read of all of Octavia Butler's books. So if you're interested, you can go to their channels and register for it. And they're starting with Kindred. I thought I should just point that out for everybody because I know Octavia Butler, especially in QP, Octavia Butler has been getting a lot of love, and a lot of people have never actually read any of Octavia Butler's work. So I've just been telling people like, yo, go check it out. I'm going to join. I'm going to get the graphic novel for Kindred though, because I've tried to read Kindred, and it was rough for me to read the first time. So I'm going to try graphic novel.
Abominable said hard pass. You know what? Why can't our chats ever be relaxed?
No, our chats, like I've gone back and watched a couple of the lives, and our chats are always just out of pocket. We really appreciate y'all. Like we're glad.
You know what's crazy? You would think the Monster Smut lives would have like the craziest chats, and sometimes it's not even that one.
No, because last week it wasn't a Monster Smut chat, and we ended up with naked. So,
oh my god, I can't wait for that. I'm gonna just start saying it like that, naked.
Naked. I mean, it's not N-E-K-E-D, it's N-E-K-K-I-D. Just in case anybody wants to know the difference.
What type of autocorrect is that?
Oh my god. I don't know. Autocorrect has been really petty lately. Like, you know how normally it just corrects ducking and you're like, cool. Lately, autocorrect has been creating whole new sentences for me.
Yo, every time I try to send y'all something, it'll change it. And I was like, I'm an English major. Stop trying to play me. I know this is right.
It's like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not. Stop making me look stupid with these autocorrects.
But
I have degrees.
My Android actually doesn't change curse words, and it'll actually autocorrect it for you to the curse words. And that's so new to me because, on iPhones, effing turns into ducking, and they just try to change any curse word to something else. Meanwhile, my phone is just like, no, we're going to put BITCH. We're going to put, my favorite word is probably a really disturbing word to people, but it's the C word.
I hate that word.
I love that word. I use that word. Me and my sisters call each other that. I call my best friend that. To the point where my phone, if I put CUN, it goes CUNT. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is so terrible.
I mean, your phone knows you by now, so it's just
I mean,
Oshley's calling your name out in the chat like somebody.
True. Listen, y'all don't know how chaotic I actually am because I can get kind of.
Listen, we know that you are super chaotic and you enjoy it more. The more chaos you create, the better off you are. We're very aware of who you are. Our audience is not aware of how chaotic you are. They just think you're the quietest one of us and,
the softest spoken
and all that other ish. We know there's a reason why the three of us are in a book club together.
Oh my gosh. I am kind of chaotic, but you know what? The more chaotic I am,
you are chaotic.
The more calm I am. Like, I'm gonna buy black hair dye after I get off of this.
No, you're not. You just dyed your hair like 4 days ago.
It's semi-permanent dye. It does nothing. There's no developer. There's no bleach. So what am I really losing?
Like my mama say, all right, keep messing with your hair, you're gonna be bald-headed.
Well, you know what? If I'm bald-headed, me and my best... Huh?
I hope you have a nice, pretty head shape, though. I'll buy you earrings to match it.
It's okay. If I, what's so funny, though? My grandma got so mad at me and my older sister because we had a full conversation about how relaxing it would be to shave our heads. Oh, Chalet said you're going to go bald. Stop it now. Aww.
Your chaotic response was, "Aw."
How was that chaotic too?
Yeah.
Abominable said, do you need to talk?
No, guys, we're telling you, this is Troy. She's perfectly fine right now. Discussing that she wants to do something different to her hair is like an everyday conversation.
That and deleting BookTube.
That and deleting BookTube. Or no, not just deleting BookTube, deleting the videos and just leaving BookTube blank.
Oh yeah, I did that for like 6 months.
It's like, you want to talk about somebody that's chaotic? This is chaotic.
Oh my gosh.
It'll just be like,
you know what? Anybody who has a conversation with their friend that literally goes, man, I want to go to another concert. Bruh, me too. Man, we don't have any money. Let's jump on a Greyhound. Okay. Get on a Greyhound like in 19 hours. That's chaotic.
Hey, Elle said, had 2 brain surgeries. Saving your head can be therapeutic. Listen, I have seen, because Jerry also cut off all of her hair recently. I love when
she looks so gorgeous.
I love when Black women cut off their hair because, you know, there's so much tied to our hair and like there's always so many things. Like when a woman cuts off her hair, like it's just the most beautiful thing in the world to me. And it's always like I'm afraid to do it mainly because, you know, I know for a fact that I don't have the head shape for it.
Yeah, I have a flat top of my head. That ain't gonna work for me.
If I ever feel like showing these babies, I was born with a head full of hair and curls. Like some babies come out with a little bit of hair. No, I came out with a head full of hair. Like you could part my hair when I was like a couple days old. And my mom was always like a running joke that was like, you know, you probably didn't like, you don't have the head shape to go bald. Like I don't.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
Yeah, I don't have the face shape because my cheeks are like, no. But when I see certain women do it, I'm like, oh my God, that is so beautiful.
Literally, I want to do it. I just feel like it would be so freeing to just shave all this annoying shit off and just be like, oh, I can just walk outside.
I mean, you could. And to be honest, I'm really shocked that you haven't.
You know what's so funny? I feel like that would be like peak mental breakdown for me because I feel like I would be like, oh, like who cares? And then I wake up the next morning and then just I'm nothing. Like I would just probably lose my mind.
I don't necessarily see you cutting all your hair off. What I expect one day to hear from you is a picture with you holding hair in your hand like I've gone too far finally.
That's so funny. My older sister came into the apartment in January and it was like 2 days after the new year and I was cutting my hair and she's like, what's going on? Oh baby, we don't cut hair in 2020.
2020 was the signifier that something was going on, not that you were cutting your hair. 2020. No, I mean, I support anybody that wants to cut their hair, change their hair. I don't do it. I use a wig because I'm very indecisive when it comes to hair. So shaving my hair off would be too drastic for me because I would regret it in like 2 weeks. So I just switch up mine. Whenever I get tired of my hair, that's when y'all see the wigs. Because
Abominable needs to be stopped. Everyone does need their own Britney Spears moment, not me though. You know what?
I'm not here. I'm not here because what? I for everybody who wants to cut off their hair. I love it. I love how like I feel like your skin glows brighter and everything. When you cut your hair, it's like the rest of your body just responds to the freedom.
Yes, it's just like stress releases off of you.
Well, because they say, you know, you hold a lot of things in your hair. So like, you know, like a lot of women after they have children, they cut off their hair. Or like after a divorce, they chop their hair off. Like it's like you're letting, it's like a signifier that you're just letting things go. And so it's like,
Listen, I feel that because my roots have grown back in, and I've just been looking at them like, how dare you?
No, you're looking at them because you're literally just like, I wonder what color I'm gonna do next.
I really want to dye my hair blue. I've only been midnight blue, which is basically just black, but I want to be almost blue. But then you said purple yesterday, and now I'm thinking about purple.
Well, because your hair is red, so I was like, if you put purple dye in your hair, and your hair is like it's a pretty fresh red. It's only like a week old. Like, wouldn't it cause a purple? That I know nothing.
It would actually like make like a mucky green color.
Seriously?
If I put blue over it, yeah, because blue and orange cancel each other out on the color wheel. So even if it doesn't completely cancel out, it would make this mucky greenish purple color.
That's rude.
It's so rude. I'd have to bleach my hair.
But like, what about the whole when you hug ready? What about that? Have we been lied to this whole time?
Listen, I don't know. Justina said test it out with hair wax. I've always thought about that, but
I know a Black-owned hair wax company.
But hair wax is too easy. Where is the experience?
You are so
I'm serious. Elle said, Troy, I did purple. It's beautiful. Thank you. Amber said, don't do this to me. I just convinced myself I wasn't going to cut my hair.
She's going to roll out like in 2 or 3 days and her hair is going to be a different color. And she's randomly going to debut her face on her IG stories. And y'all going to be sitting there looking like, oh my God, I encourage this. This is y'all. Like, huh?
Oshile is texting us. She said I must be stopped.
I mean, it's like you go through these moments where like, ooh, new hair, new hair, new hair. Sometimes you tell us, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just take a picture and we're like, because I had no idea you dyed your hair red until the live on Sunday.
It wasn't on purpose. I got the wrong color. In retrospect, you guys didn't know I dyed my hair copper until I like texted y'all. I was just like, look, it worked. And y'all are like, what worked?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you
listen. Wait, Abominable. I would die to be on Brad Mondo's. I want him to rip me apart. I would actually crack up. Nothing better could come of my life other than that.
Oh wow.
He's actually really nice about it too. He doesn't even rip anybody apart. He's actually really chill. It's just really funny to like be a natural hair disaster and to end up on Brad Mondo. Hey, talk about the subscriber boost.
Hold on. I just realized something.
Oh my God, I just read your text.
I just noticed that. I'm like, how does that
work?
How does that work?
So, even if
we might as well just tell you guys, since we're having technical difficulties out the wazoo. So Oshile is the one that was leading this podcast. So she was the one controlling the live. However, when the computer kicked her out, that means we have no way of ending the broadcast because it's still going through her thing.
Even if we both left, it would still just be alive.
Yep. I mean,
you call.
This is why we do test. This is why we do test people. Like, oh look, she's back in.
I can hear like her breaking up laughter. Y'all call me chaotic. This whole live is chaotic.
I mean, okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to say? Because we're gonna end it because we realize we're hitting, like, the longer we stay on, the more technical difficulties we are incurring behind the scenes, and we're trying to figure out how to fix it. But all we can do is laugh because it's so random. We go live all the time.
All the time. And the one time we don't want to have to get pretty for it is when we have to have all the screw-ups.
We're getting punished for not wanting to show our faces or something because we've never had the issues that we're having right now. on a live. Oh, we can hear Oshale randomly when she's laughing, but we can't hear her.
Oh my god. Any last minute question, guys?
Yeah.
She's still laughing.
Ooh, one line we're gonna talk about piercings and tattoos too.
Ooh, don't get me started. I want like 1 billion tattoos.
Oh, I have a list of 4 more that I have to get. Night Owl Reader asks, so we'll have this one last question. Night Owl Reader asks, do you guys want to talk more about the shows you watched in your youth?
Ooh. Let's see. I remember I told you guys in the group chat, one of my favorite shows as a kid was Invader Zim. Like, I loved that show. It was so underrated.
Honestly, I hated Invader Zim. Like, without Gurr, the whole thing was stupid.
It was so amazing.
It's like Gurr
I felt judged.
Like, when I say I liked Invader Zim, I meant I liked Gurr.
I mean, I love Gurr too, but I like Zim as well.
I did not. Everything about that show was disgusting to me.
What was disgusting?
Like, I don't know why, but I remember an episode where like I don't even know like why, like I only remember it as being a disgusting show. Also, I have no idea what Zoog Disney is or Flash Forward on Disney. Y'all gotta explain that to me.
Me either. I don't know what that is.
I'm slightly foreign in some things. I have no idea what that is. We don't talk about the famous Jet Jackson.
Oh my God, don't talk about it.
Jesus Christ, Oshale.
Now, of course, now we hear, like, we are not. Oh.
Did we lose her again?
Huh?
Did we lose her again?
I don't know, but yeah, what Oshale said in the chat, we can't talk about the famous Jet Jackson. My soul hurts.
Yeah, we're not ready for that conversation.
We are still grieving that one. But on the other hand, there was was Alan Strange on Disney or Netflix? Or Netflix.
Oh, I was going to say Netflix. What?
Like, oh, what was your favorite Disney original movie?
I had so many. Because all the good ones came on at like 2 a.m.
Oh my God, yes. The Xenon chick.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Shoot. So many. Smart House.
Luck of the Irish.
Look, I was saying, what was the one where he was turning into a mermaid?
13th something?
13th. Oh my gosh, there's literally so many. Yo, Oshale talking to someone Raven-Symoné was still black. Shame.
Oh, the shade. Johnny Tsunami.
Yes.
I love that one.
You know, every time I think about High School Musical, I think about the time that my family, my dad was stationed in Germany. And one of the things that they do for the military, like with your family, is they do this thing called R&R, where you're like, take a vacation with your family and you kind of have a discount wherever you're going. Well, we chose to go to Edelweiss, which is like a mountain resort. So, you know, I thought I was all bougie because I was like, ooh, I'm going to go in the European mountains. I'm going to meet me a cute boo. He going to teach me how to snowboard. Everything going to be great. However, we got up there and it was the only weekend where there wasn't enough snow to snowboard.
Damn. So
we were in the room bored as hell and we just started watching Disney Channel and High School Musical came on and I just remember my entire family in the room watching High School Musical and then going to school. Like we went back to school in South Germany again and we're all in class. And it's this one guy, he was like 6'5" and like this big dude. And we're like, what you watch? Like, how was your weekend? He was like, no Lotto, like High School Musical went off. And I was like, no, you watched it too. And it was like a quiet, hushed secret that we actually watched High School Musical because we were like, what? Junior. I was a junior at the time. So, you know, it was like hush, hush. But yeah.
You want to hear how old I was when High School Musical first came out? I was 10.
No, there's
Yes,
no
I
way.
was 10, bro. Because I was in 4th grade.
I keep forgetting that you're 24?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm 31, so that makes sense. Thank you for making me feel old as dirt.
You know what's so funny? In the last live, you were like, girl, I am not that many years older than you. What am I, like 5 or 6? I was just like, no.
I mean, I say that because my sister, like my youngest sister, is also your age. So, you know.
Oh my gosh. I used to love High School Musical. I remember Radio Disney came to the movie theaters when the 3rd movie came out. And they were like asking people questions, and you can get these goodie bags. And so they were asking questions, and I was getting everyone right. And they were getting so irritated with me. So they were just like, fine, we're going to get you now. What's the director of High School Musical's name? And they just kept on looking at me because they knew I was going to get it wrong. And I was like, Kenny Ortega. And they just all looked at each other like, what the heck?
Didn't know Kenny Ortega. Like, he was literally everybody's person in Camp Rock, the beach dance movie. Like, he was literally in every one of them. His hand was in every one of them.
Every one of them. And his name was big and bold.
Right. They need to stop. Ooh, you know what? Also, we might as well talk about this. Cheetah Girls was a bop. Cinderella still is lit.
Yes.
I always wanted the outfit that not Galleria, but Chanel, the outfit that Chanel, most of the outfits that Chanel had, I wanted them.
Chanel's outfits were so cute.
Yep.
You want to hear something so weird? When I was in school, I had this one friend, I'm not going to say her name, but I had this one, she was Mexican, right? And for whatever reason, we decided to switch. And I was Chanel and she was Raven.
Wow.
And it made no sense. And we would literally trade wigs. We had like the wigs or whatever, and she would have even though she had dark hair, it would make no sense. And she would wear the dark wig, and I would wear like a really puffy curly wig or whatever. And I was just like, you're literally Latina, and I'm Black. This makes no sense. But we did. We switched.
You know, that's fine. Because the Cheetah Girls was, you know. Also, yes, Oshale, we definitely remember Smart House.
That movie creeped me out to high heavens.
Disney Plus has really been giving me a chance to go back and watch things. And like all the Disney original movies, still love them all. Like Lizzie McGuire. Yup.
Oh, yes.
Twitches.
I love Twitches.
What is
I literally
name?
sometimes just listen to Ali and AJ music because I'm just like,
I love Ali and AJ. I also love that. What is it? Ali that did some of the songs on Steven Universe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because man, listen, Steven Universe bops, but that soundtrack, I think it's volume 2 of the soundtrack of the TV series has dropped today. I saw it on Rebecca Sugar's thing. I'm still looking for the vinyl version of Steven Universe Volume 1. So if anybody knows where they can get that, hit me up, please. I just figured I'd put that out there because that music bops now.
Smart House is why I can't trust Alexa.
No, iRobot and Smart House are the 2 movies.
iRobot.
I was gifted like a Google Home and like the thing that you can control your lights and da-da-da-da-da. And I literally took the receipt back to the store because I was like, no,
we're not going there.
Movies. Do y'all remember what happened when y'all started getting robots in your house and Will Smith was in the shower contemplating life? Y'all remember that? I can't.
Wait, do you know what my favorite movie to watch on VHS was? It wasn't on Disney Channel, but I'm imagining it was probably still Disney. It was the Barbie Rapunzel movie. That was my whole life.
Speaking of Barbie Rapunzel, I don't know if this, like, to this day, me and my brother have no idea where this VHS came from. But like when my dad would have to go to the States or like we get a box from my grandma or something, they would record the cartoons and stuff that y'all had over here on VHS so that we could watch them. And there was a Barbie movie where like Barbie and her friends were in a band, but they were like performing in space.
Really?
Yeah. Like I even remember some of the songs. We watched that VHS so freaking much. But to this day, like whenever we tell people about it, they look at us like we're crazy. We're like, so wait, where did this movie come from? If it
did y'all dream of it? Wait, another movie I used to have to. Another movie I had to always watch, and I think I said this to you guys. I don't remember if I told you guys when we were on FaceTime or in a live. My older sister's favorite movie as a child was Wild Wild West. I used to get so irritated. I was like, of all the Will Smith movies in the world to watch, you watch one of his worst movies in the world.
Listen, he was fine in that movie, though. I just wanted to point that
out. He was, but what was that movie about?
You know what? That's a very good question. What was that movie about?
Like, I don't. That movie was terrible.
I mean, it was. Because, we could literally... One of our podcasts is going to be a Q&A session with where we have to ask each other wild questions. One of my questions will be, which movie do you think Will Smith was the finest in?
The finest? Damn.
The finest. So you have time to think about it because he's got a couple movies where it was like,
He's still like,
He, you know why? And this is going to sound so terrible. Actually, Oshley, Bad Boys 2 is where I felt like he looked the best.
Yeah, I was going to say Bad Boys.
I noticed that when celebrities are trying to be decent human beings, they tend to age more gracefully. It's like the moment a celebrity comes out and shows any form of bigotry, they start to age like milk and decay.
Decay.
Prime examples. Dash. Everybody who worked under Trump as the person that stood up in front of the people and talked. Except now she got surgery and now she looks like, oh my God, I'm going to say this. She looks like, the crime shows like Bones and stuff.
Yeah.
When they take the skull and they try to like reimagine what the face would look like based on the skull.
I'm so over you.
That's what her face looks like now. Like she looks like she's trying to be identified as a dead body. This is why I am okay with you getting surgery, but you're gonna have to make sure your surgeon is on it.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Wait.
I'm sorry, Oshley.
Oshley.
By all caps. Jasmine Guy wasn't aging very well when she was in A Different World.
I don't know why this made me think of this. This is so terrible. But did you guys ever see that one tweet that one boy tweeted that was just like, y'all really be hyping up Lisa Bonet and Zoe Kravitz acting like they don't both look like ashtrays? And I was just like, I am getting off of this internet. I'm getting off of the internet.
First of all, y'all not gonna do Zoe and her mama like that. They mind their business and they
don't do nothing.
Alone. I'm done. Whoever said that, I hate you.
They don't do nothing to nobody.
Oh
man. Justina said, to be honest, Lisa Bonet ain't age well either.
He didn't, but that's probably have to do with some drugs. But again, I'm gonna stop all these comments. Y'all need to stop. Y'all not gonna get me caught up today. I'm not going to be dragged on Twitter, laugh at people and hurt feelings. All I'm gonna say is usually when a person is decent, they age pretty decent as well.
Yeah.
Look at the entire cast from Living Single. They're doing just fine.
Period.
And Scooter is still fine. There we go. I just need to say that. We've been on here for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I want to wrap this up before me and Troy end up just saying things that we should not be saying.
Yeah, we need to go.
So thank you guys so much for coming to our podcast test 1. Obviously, we're going to have to do some more tests before we officially launch. So if you guys have any type of topics that you guys would like for us to do, leave them in comments. And as usual, that way we can figure out what our next test talk will be. This was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it too. We're gonna try it again. I think for a while we might test it doing Friday night specials. So if you see any announcement or any live notification for a Friday night special, just know it will more than likely be a podcast test. And eventually we'll start actually having a format. So
with actual topics and everything.
Don't forget to follow Black Pros on all of our social medias, including Instagram. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you have not. Engagement helps all of us. And got anything else to say, Troy?
And don't forget to follow our personal social medias, Melanin Eclectic, Ink Flirt Studios, and Oshi Reads.
Right. All right, guys. Well, Oshla, you can cut us off now.
Bye, y'all.